I gave myself 48 hours to build Yavin 4 out of Lego. Let's see how it went. First up, I needed to put together some plates to finalize the size of the build and create something to work with. I also raised it up by a brick so that I can include a nice border, which gives it a much more polished appearance. From there, I began mapping out where I wanted elevation changes to occur using some spare bricks. I then laid out where a stretch of ruin would sit and began designing a slope section for the end of it using headlight bricks, because without it, the slopes didn't align. The rest of the ruin was built using plates, ingots, masonry bricks, and more headlight bricks. I then added a floor behind it, and we were off to a pretty good start. But unfortunately, it wouldn't last. So next up was the terrain, which I decided would be a combination of medium nougat mixed in with olive green to add a forest look. Throw in a bit of mud and you've got some pretty decent terrain. I even added a tree piece from a minifigure costume to act as a stump, which I thought was a pretty nice addition to the atmosphere. I considered adding some vegetation, but I thought I'd hold off and decide later. Now I could really start to see what the build was going to end up looking like. And with that, it's time for one of my favorite parts, which was the rock work. It's barely any, but it adds such a cool look in my opinion. The shaping is about as good as I could get it, and I couldn't be happier. However, I can't say the same for the next bit of rock work, which really honestly set in motion a major shift in the challenge. So originally this build was only supposed to take 24 hours, but the rock work was taking forever and I'd gotten a late start, so I realized I was gonna have to give myself another day. So here is the original plan for the build, and as you can see right here, there is some straight up rock work. Basically why that's an issue is usually how you would build rock work with Lego is with slopes, but when you're building it straight up, you kind of can't do that. And so basically what I was struggling with was trying to build that rock work in a way that utilize slopes, but it could still go straight up and achieve the same look. I gave it a shot, but it just wasn't looking good. So I came up with the idea to have a ruined wall in the background and build the section I already had into a pathway that resembled something from the Battlefront 2 map. So we've got a plan, we've got more time, now we just gotta finish this thing up. I started using all sorts of plates and slopes to build up the broken chunks of the back of the wall, while still using that same palette of pieces for the rest of it. I also added in a door frame to allow access beyond the wall, and I'm super happy with this. There's also this really cool banner that's a subtle reference to one of my older builds. This table was so clean when I started, and now it's just a mess. I curved the wall up and over the banner, added a tree to the other side for a dash of color, and the build was almost complete. But what would a Lego Star Wars build be without figures? So I added a few rebel troopers next to this cool computer design, then threw in an advancing imperial regime for them to battle it out with. And with that, I'd created a fully complete Yavin 4 MOC in 48 hours.